Hello gamer girlies and guys, I am Unoya Gaming and welcome to the speed build that I will be doing for the Boba Tea Tales challenge. Now, if you have seen my cast video, I actually have already made this sim and I am making the build for this challenge. Now, this is a 10 generation legacy challenge. And originally, I'm pretty sure that the starting village or world that your sim would be in would not be here. But since I don't have that pack, I have changed it to here because I feel like it's the world that best fits the storyline. I think this is Windenburg. It's the cottage living world. So as you can see, I have used a lot of cottage living. It literally looks like a build which came out right after cottage living came out, because I first of all have not gotten the opportunity to use these items very much, and also I feel like it fits the aesthetic very much. So also, as a disclaimer, if you hear any loud noises in the background, there is some construction going on across the road, so that is the reason why. But back to the build. As you can see here, I'm trying to work on the roof, and I was trying to fix that little part where it was cutting off. So what I did to fix that was just extending that part, because I felt like it looked weird when I don't know if you saw, but the roof was cut off because you could see the bottom of it because of the other roof being curved up. I don't know if that makes sense, because if you didn't catch it, then it probably doesn't. But here, as you can see, I'm just adding windows, which just took a while. And for this wall, I actually was debating on what window I should put in for quite a long time. I did spend a long time on the outside, and I'm pretty sure I had 20,000 simoleons to do this build. In fact, the starting of the challenge, you're supposed to start with 1 to 20k, which I'm pretty sure I did, but now my sim is absolutely broke because of the build. So we'll see, we'll do a little rags to riches, I guess, as well. So yeah, as you can see, I'm doing some wallpaper. I'm just working on the main things now, the wallpaper, the roof color and stuff, and I was trying to make it more interesting, and eventually I just decided to keep it like that, but add the roof trim. I also added this porch, which you will see later on that I wasn't able to fill in that well because of the lack of simoleons, but I did manage to tweak around with the build, because I may or may not have forgotten that I had a budget for quite a while, because I was just having fun making the build. Now, something that I've noticed that's annoying with these stairs is, number one, they don't match with the floor colors, and second of all, even the textures don't match, so sometimes that gets really annoying, and I was trying to get it to match as well as possible, and I just decided on that floor after a bit. So yeah, here I was trying to see what I could do just to make the terrain more interesting, which you will see me continue to tweak that actually near the end instead of before I go inside like a normal person. And actually, where the porch was, I didn't like how there was this extra white bit. So what you will see me doing to try to fix this is I went into the plants and I started adding these grass things, and in fact I managed to do them in a way where they looked pretty natural, and I also added it on other parts of the house and made it curve down, as you can see that I'm doing here, just to make it sort of look more natural, hopefully. And I do like how that ended up looking, so I added more on the back just to continue that effect and make it look like it wasn't just a cover up for that white bit So yeah, the issue with this is that it was expensive because every single piece of this grass was 20 simoleons, but you can actually find these in debug, I saw later on, because yes, I will be using debug here, so I'm sorry about that, but I did just want to make the home look finished-ish. I didn't want it to be like big or something. In fact, it's not a big cottage, but I wanted it to look homey enough, because I didn't want to start the series with my sim in a super horrible home, and I was really liking how it turned out, so I didn't want to make it ugly. As for wallpaper, I think that these wallpapers are so pretty, like the cottage living wallpapers are absolutely amazing. I love them, and I'm probably going to be using them for so many of my like vintage or cottagecore or any of that sort of like builds. So what I decided to do here is, since I couldn't find the coat rack, I decided to actually put in a little reading nook. Now originally I did have this bookshelf, but I'm not gonna let you all get attached to it because unfortunately later on I do delete it. It is pretty, but I will have to delete it because of the fact that I ran out of simoleons and needed to save. So that is what I did. I know that this did turn out pretty, but I mean, I wanted to finish the house without adding more simoleons, and the only thing that I allowed myself was debug. So yeah, I was like trying to clutter it, but unfortunately that bookshelf has gone bye-bye, but I will probably be using it in the future. Now that's just the door to the bedroom, and I'm about to start working on the other like areas of the house. Now, two things. Number one, I'll be using a lot of plants in this house. I love the look of the bunch of like the cottagecore aesthetic in The Sims 4. I think it's so pretty, so I love adding a lot of plants into my builds. And also I do not have a TV in this home. Now the reasons are, number one, I didn't know where to put everything in a way that it would look nice. Well, I think I could have put that in that little nook over there, but as you can see, I am instead putting in the kitchen. But also, because I didn't have enough expenses to afford a TV, I didn't buy one. And I mean, this family is like living in the countryside, so, well, future family, because at the moment it's just one sim, but they are living in the countryside, so maybe they're too busy, especially when they start their farm, which is going to be super exciting. Yeah, so moving on, I have made it to the bathroom. Now originally I did choose these wall and floor tiles, but then I realized that they look too modern, so I took a bit more of a vintage-y approach, and I think this wallpaper has made it a bit better. So yeah, I did go for like this like white. I think like I just made like the shower, toilet and sink white. I think that looks nice with the bathroom. But moving on, as you can see, I was trying to make that sofa like work and look at that wall, but I felt like it was too in the way because it was like in the middle of like that like open space, and it would have been a bit annoying to get around. So I just added a coffee table, so I guess their living room is just sit down on a couch and drink a coffee or something. So moving on to the bedroom, this was a really big struggle for me to actually be able to fill up, and you will see me in fact make it smaller. But luckily I feel like it doesn't look too bad. It's literally just a bed, two side tables, a rug, and yeah, and a painting, but since I eventually made it smaller, I think that it did work out. Now looking at the build, it is not completely in the middle, which I'm sorry for that, but I did align it with the windows, so I mean, yeah, so I guess that isn't too insanely bad. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm just like finishing the bedroom off, and I then wanted to add a rug, but I didn't know where to put it out here, but I did decide to add one to the bedroom instead, which, thinking about it, I probably should have added one to the bathroom as well, but I did not end up doing that. Now finally, moving on to the outside, I was limited, but I started using like debug like around this area, but like a bit after, and I did manage to add a small dining area with 3 chairs on the top. Now as you can see, I did remove some of that grass in order to get some more money for the chairs, which I got 3 of, which isn't too bad. Now I felt like the porch looked very empty, so in that corner I decided to add 2 plants, and I do very much feel like it helped. Like I feel like it managed to fill up the space, even though it really didn't take up much. I feel like it just really managed to bring the porch together, so I do like that about it. Now finally, as you can see, since I now had debug on too, and I also, well, yeah, here I have debug on, and also I knew how much money I had left, well, simoleons. This is when I decided to play around with the terrain. I just decided to make it look like a natural plot of land, and I couldn't find any good grass in debug, but I did just manage to add some trees in and also roughen up the terrain a bit, because I mean, it's not really normal that, I mean, like wild land is so smooth. And I also added a little pond there. So yeah, as you can see, I'm adding the finishing touches, and it is finished. This is what the final result looked like, and I hope you enjoy it. While we look at it, I will be saying goodbye, because this is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time, and for episode 1 of this challenge. I also advise you not to spend too long on the internet, and stay safe. Goodbye everyone.